put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Welcome back, and of course, thanks for staying with us here on Tobago Updates Television. We're talking sports this morning, and we just had Kelton Thomas talking about the Tobago Strongest Man competition. And of course, we now have Makan Hislop talking about Tobago Youth Football League. Now, I can't compete with Makan in terms of bicep. I put myself in the corner one time. Makan, good morning, and thanks for being with us this morning.
Morning to you, Marcus, and good morning to all the viewers.
Hey, Makan, Tobago Youth Football League, tell me about that.
Well, the Tobago Youth Football League is a group of young professionals from Tobago, as well as being local and international. And we have come together to try to develop youth football on the island, because we've seen it as a space where there's opportunity for growth. So we've come together and we've put together this initiative as in the Tobago Youth Football League. And it's if you know the senior men, they play the league for points like the EPL.
Right.
But we never really had any type of league like that for the younger age groups, the under 18, 17, 15, all the way down to under 12s.
Yeah,
so,
do we have the numbers in Tobago to have such a sustainable league in Tobago?
You'll be surprised.
Right.
I think we have about 13 teams and spread across all the different age categories. And we also have facilities for young girls as well.
Right.
And many times these young persons only have opportunity to play in like one-off weekend competitions, a cup here or there. So when we have the league, they have ongoing games. So you'd play against a roster of teams. And when you're a young footballer, this contact time is very important to get you to where you need to be in your developmental stages.
Yeah, and in terms of the Tobago Football Association, I mean, tell us about their, is it a collaborative effort, or do you have to get the blessings of the TFA to have such an initiative here in Tobago?
It's more so along the lines of blessings right now, but we are in collaboration as in how we structure the competition and what are the components of the competition. Because what we're trying to do here is ensure that we have a kind of a train line of young footballers leading into the senior type of football.
Right. So you're going to launch today. Means that you have all the teams registered already, or you can still register?
Well, all the teams are registered at this point in time. So this is just to kick off to let everyone know that the competition is starting, so that we could have persons come to the games and support all the young players. So today is going to be the full launch, but the league isn't the only component that we really have. We have other programs, but right now we're focusing on the league so that from now till, I guess, the end of summer, we could have a lot of games going on with all the young players.
Yeah, so you have, who are some of the teams that would have registered thus far?
I think the infamous team, everyone knows about Ball Blasters.
Right. That's the only master on the studio, yes?
Yes. He makes a lot of noise and he has a lot of crowd support. You have the Titans, you have the Eagles, you have teams from the east side. I think there's Lakers youth teams. There's teams from
so it's island-wide?
Yes.
Right, so and when are you going to start the league?
I think the games start this coming weekend.
Oh, so it's launching today and it start this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, so what's the fixtures like?
Well, I mean, I don't have the fixtures in front of me, so I can't say specifically.
No, in terms of like days, is it going to be on weekends only, the times and venues?
There's going to be games throughout the week as well. I think there's going to be games, because right now we're struggling in Tobago with accessibility to certain fields, so we're going to have to space it out in a way that we could get all the games done in time. So we have games usually on the weekend and maybe 1 or 2 during the week.
Oh, so it's going to be, how many categories are you going to have? You mentioned under 18, under 12, so we're going to have all those categories, or for the very first time, we're going to have just one age group?
We're going to have under 10s, under 12s, under 15s, under 17s, and I believe we also considering under 19s.
And then you mentioned that your group has other programs in train. Tell me about some of those other programs.
Oh, well, there's a college ID program that happens in December. We also have a trip coming up to Grenada. We're also planning an exchange program with Academy in the US. So the whole idea about the organization is to provide like step-by-step development of young footballers, so that when it is that you decide that you want to play football, you want to have competitions that's in the league, you're going to have weekend competition, you're going to have opportunities to go to college, and we're also looking at finding opportunities to get trials for professional teams. We actually were in conversation recently with a team in Spain, and we have teams in England, and more so teams in the US coming out of the college program and going to the MLS or the USL.
So outside of bragging rights to win this Tobago Youth League, there are opportunities for persons who probably excel to be, given scholarships abroad.
Yes, well, what we're trying to do, we're trying to align our development strategy in line with the national program in the first instance. So we have a situation where we want to get a lot of our younger players onto the national teams. So we have a kind of high performance program as well that we currently operating, and the idea is to develop some of the best players for that elite level. But we're also not going to like disband any of the other players who are not at the elite level. So that's why we have the league with all the teams could be involved to play multiple games and get exposed. National team exposure, college exposure, and to come, professional exposure.
You know, and I just saw the team released for the Gold Cup. And not one Tobago player in the mix. I mean, are you at all concerned about Tobagonians not being there? I mean, you're a former national player. You had Sid Gray and all those guys who have played for the Soca Warrior team. And today, we don't have one Tobago player. Are you at all concerned about that?
Very concerned. And I don't think it's for a lack of talent.
Yeah.
We've always been blessed in Tobago with massive talent when it comes to football and other sporting disciplines. And to see that we have not been able to set up a situation where we have enough fertile soil to develop top-level players to make it to the top level locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, as in the national team. And I know that there's work to be done, and I believe that the TYFL could contribute towards that.
Yeah, and who are some of the young players that you would have seen? I mean, you must have an eye for talent in Tobago. You know, you can name some of them. You can call them from Blasters or from Roxbury, because you know, I like to shout out to the youngsters who are there doing their thing, but sometimes you just don't recognize them. Have you seen that talent?
I've seen a few persons. I'm going to be a little bit biased here to one of my old teammates, Mr. Karen Packer Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
He has a fantastic son that is showing great promise, and I've seen Emo, you know, Emo from Plymouth?
Yeah.
Emo has a son as well. I mean, he is something special. There's a number of players in the older age groups, like in the under 15, under 17, who also, Kylan Braffett.
Kylan, yeah.
Yeah, and there's, I think, one of the McCool boys.
Yeah, Zion McCool.
You see, you know the guys. I mean, these are just from the top of my head, but there are lots more other promising talents that coming up through the younger age groups, and I'm excited for the future because with the right system in place and the right off-the-field stuff put in place, we could change that statistic of having no Tobagonians on the national team. Yeah.
Tell me about your organization. Who are some of the guys behind the scene?
Okay, well, I mean, one of the main persons is Mr. McClatchy, Shaquille Tanti McClatchy. He is from Lambo. He came through the Bertil Sinclair coaching school like most of us in Tobago. I think he's out in an academy now in New York. I believe it's New York or New Jersey, but in the US.
Right.
And he's one of the key benefactors that really helps us to get connections to different sponsors abroad, different people we can bring on board to promote these programs, the exchange programs. We also know Mr. Wendell Moore,
right.
The standout guy from football in Tobago, and he helps us get players into the college programs as well as maybe try from the scout. You know, his son is doing really well on the US team and so on. Other persons locally, we have Karen Williams. We also have Miss Reese Nicholson.
Reese, the TikToker. Yeah, Reese, we are big on TikTok, you know.
Yeah, we have a number of persons local. We have Anton Edwards, who's on board as well. He has a SAT program that helps us prepare kids for college. So we do a lot of things. We try to spread the net far and wide. So when we come to developing our young footballers, we could offer them like expertise locally, internationally, and a broad spectrum of opportunities.
Yeah, and Makan, just before we go, right, for persons wanting more information, is there a Facebook page or where they can get the fixtures and all these different things, or look forward to big updates?
We'll do both. Yeah. We'll invite you guys to the launch later. Right. I'm hoping you guys will be there. There is an Instagram page and Facebook page, so look up for Tobago Youth Football League, TYFL, and you can find all the information there.
But thank you so much for being with us here this morning, and I wish you all the best in doing this for Tobago and Tobago youth footballers. Guys, thank you so much for being with us here this morning on Tobago Updates Television Sports. We're going to be back again next week, Friday, and I have a special guest coming next week, Friday, James Saunders. You know that name? James Saunders from TV6. We're going to have a celebration with him next week. But before we go, we're going to, in fact, I'm going to hand you over to Tobago Notes and, of course, GMT right after that. Thank you so much for being with us.